Welcome to Connect with Animal. Today, we dive into the world of the tiger shark, known as the garbage can of the ocean. Why does this powerful predator eat almost everything? Let's uncover the shocking truth beneath the waves.
In the vast ocean, a supreme predator roams, holding secrets within its depths.
Known as the tiger shark, its name hints at a ferocious and powerful nature.
But its reputation comes not just from its appearance, but from its incredible appetite.
It's often called the ocean's trash can, for reasons both fascinating and disturbing.
Investigators have been stunned by the objects found inside this sea turtle.
Let's explore the unbelievable contents discovered within the stomach of the tiger shark.
License plates. How could a creature of the sea consume something like this?
Its digestive system is robust, but this is beyond extraordinary.
Entire skeletons of land animals have also been found, miles from any shore.
Its diet includes turtles, seabirds, and even large marine mammals.
But perhaps the most bizarre discovery of all is a car tire. How and why would this apex predator consume something so indigestible?
The answer lies in its nature as the ultimate opportunistic feeder.
Tiger sharks often perform test bites on unfamiliar objects to identify them.
Their opportunism isn't limited to inanimate objects. They are also known cannibals.
In a brutal display of dominance, they will even prey on other sharks.
For the smaller predator, there is little hope of escape.
The attack is swift, powerful, and ruthlessly efficient.
This behavior solidifies its status as a true apex predator.
So what gives it the ability to consume almost anything it encounters?
The secret lies in its dental arsenal, a marvel of predatory evolution. Each tooth is uniquely shaped, perfect for shearing through flesh and bone.
Unlike humans, they possess around 5 rows of teeth at any given time. When a tooth is lost, one from the row behind simply moves forward.
This allows them to tackle tough prey, like the thick shells of sea turtles.
Their bite force is immense, a perfectly engineered tool for their varied diet.
A single tiger shark can produce over 20,000 teeth in its lifetime.
These constantly replaced teeth are common finds for fossil hunters worldwide.
So, this incredible eating ability isn't just a curiosity. It is the key to its survival and its role in the ecosystem.
By consuming carcasses, they help recycle nutrients and keep the ocean healthy.
They are a crucial part of the marine food web.
Their willingness to eat anything allows them to thrive in many different environments.
From the deepest channels to the shallowest flats, they find ways to survive.
They They are the ultimate survivors.
Their existence is a testament to a simple, brutal philosophy.
Never refuse a meal.
This dental conveyor belt ensures they are always ready for the next opportunity. They are comfortable in both pristine reefs and murky coastal waters.
Their widespread distribution is a direct result of their flexible diet.
They are not wasteful hunters, often seeking easier, more opportune targets.
At night, their keen senses give them a significant advantage over their prey.
They can detect the faint electrical fields of living creatures, even those buried in sand. This sixth sense makes hiding from them nearly impossible.
This combination of physical tools and sensory abilities makes it a master hunter.
From birth, they are equipped for a life of opportunistic feeding.
As our world encroaches on theirs, their diet becomes even stranger.
They sometimes mistake floating trash for food, with potentially fatal results.
Their presence near coastlines is a reminder of the wildness just beyond our reach.
Despite its fearsome reputation, it is a creature of profound beauty.
Scientists study them to better understand their behavior and protect their future.
Tracking data reveals vast migrations, connecting distant ecosystems.
Encounters with humans are rare, and attacks are even rarer.
But we return to the central mystery, the bizarre, indigestible items.
This behavior stems from a simple, powerful evolutionary drive.
In the harsh reality of the ocean, wasting a potential meal is not an option.
In vast stretches of open ocean, food can be incredibly scarce.
Therefore, any object of interest must be investigated as a potential food source.
The bite first, ask questions later approach has ensured its survival for millions of years.
They are a living link to a more primal, ancient world.
Every part of its body is perfected for the role of apex predator.
It is a creature of both explosive action and calculated patience.
It has witnessed epochs change, and yet it remains.
Its survival strategy is timeless, written in the language of necessity.
It is the unblinking eye in the center of the storm.
It understands that opportunity, in any form, is the key. Whether it's metal, reptile, or even its own kind.
Its jaws and teeth are the ultimate tools for deconstruction.
The tiger shark does not discriminate.
This is not a flaw in its design, but its greatest strength.
It is a creature perfectly adapted to its world. A master of survival, a keeper of oceanic balance.
We may see it as a simple eating machine.
But it is a complex animal, honed by millions of years of evolution.
Its legacy is not written in books, but in the ocean itself. It exists for one reason: to continue. To survive, to endure, because it never refuses a meal.
A true master of its domain, the undisputed trash can of the sea.
Its story is a lesson in survival, a stark reminder of nature's brutal efficiency.